All right, we're back. Crypto, let's get into it. Boom. Bitcoin absolutely running through, tearing through demand, leaving heaps of supply behind still. We've got a 4-hour OBIF here, which I'm not putting that much importance to it just because of the higher time frame here. So to be completely honest, we'll leave that open-ended. Beautiful. My target for Bitcoin is this demand below. No if, buts, or maybes. If yeah, so looking at this Bitcoin chart, I'm expecting us to hit this 57k level at some point, sooner rather than later. What I'm going to do is actually just stand my desk up because I've been sitting down for too long. All right, we're still here. We good. But yeah. So we've mitigated this demand, which that's not really necessary. But what am I expecting higher time frame, mid to long term, not long term, but mid to short term for Bitcoin, I guess. So not necessarily higher time frame. I'm expecting us to hit eventually this 57k level. Like, we're just leaving so much supply above. We've mitigated this supply. So this is just too low time frame for me to still have on the chart. We have had supply there. Or we have supply there, and then we had supply here as well, which has been mitigated. So right now, Bitcoin as a whole is showing great signs of weakness. Let me just fix this. Yeah, Bitcoin as a whole is showing great signs of weakness. So we probably won't even bounce. Maybe we'll have a little bounce off this 4-hour OBI, but it is 4 hours, so don't expect a big reaction. But eventually I still expect us to hit this 57k level, maybe even a little bit lower. And then whether we accumulate off this 57k level, and bounce, or we continue going lower, I don't know. You're just gonna have to trade levels, but 57k is very, very likely at the moment. So yeah, just be mindful of that. Don't think a bottom is in by any means necessary as of now. Price is continuing to respect supply and also leave supply behind. So yeah, just expect lower. It's that simple. Expect lower. We have this 4-hour OBIF, as I said. We're probably just going to run straight through it, but this demand below is our main POI to look out for, which was, I think, I'm confident that it was an OBIF, and yeah, it was. So this is a 3-day OBIF for anyone interested. Should we? I'd like to think we will respect it, but should we not respect it? The next POI would be, this has been mitigated, just an FYI. Yeah, it has been mitigated ever so slightly. We even had overlapping demand, which has been mitigated as well. So I don't think we're going to go as low as sub 50. I don't think we will. I don't think we will go as low as sub 50. I think we're going to hover around the 50k. Like, even just as a psychological figure, 50k is sort of like a do or die number, if you will. But I feel like we will respect 50k. Maybe we might dip to, like really scare a few people and go 49. but keep in mind, for us to get to 49, that means we're going to get to like here. But yeah, I feel like we're going to, as I said, I feel like we're not even going to go sub 50. I feel like we're going to respect this, maybe go like deep into the order block, maybe like 53, 54, and then most likely bounce. If for whatever reason we fail and we continue breaking through this OBIF, then 43.9k is honestly the next target. That's where I'm going to expect to bounce from. So yeah, that is pre-planning for Bitcoin. So pay attention, like really pay attention here, guys, or rewind. Chart this up on your chart as well, just so you know what levels we're bouncing from if we start bouncing. Because obviously, if you're just watching the price move without anything drawn on your chart, then you're just like, oh shit, are we going higher? Are we going lower? Oh no, what's going on? Whereas yeah, if you have all your levels mapped out, then you know what you know where price can go. You're not going to be able to properly predict it, bar for bar, but you can have a good idea of where we might go. And for now, we are going lower, so expect us to reach around here. Let's see what USDT is doing. So yeah, so as a whole, expect. Now this is what I like to see. I like this, how this accumulation has completed itself. So we had our tap, range low, range high, tap 1, Wyckoff high, deviation 1 / tap 2, tap 3, beautiful clean model 1 on USDT dominance. We have hit supply, and at least right now we're continuing to kind of go higher. I will put my do not disturb on, but yeah, we're continuing to go high, at least for now, but we are also respecting supply, so we could potentially see some form of exhaustion, so just be cautious of that. Other than that, I'm not really seeing much demand being left behind here. Yeah, not necessarily. So just be patient with USDT dominance. Context still remains, as of now, USDT dominance higher, alts lower, Bitcoin lower. So essentially just look for distributions on your charts. Not much more to do, just look for distributions, keep it simple. We can see this got front ran, never completed the model. In terms of where do I think ASTA's going to go, I think it's going to go lower into this demand. So just be patient there. Alerts have been set. But keeping in mind all this information, this could be a good spot buying option soon, not now. There's still room for lower to go in the markets. But whether that may be a month or two, 3 or 4, probably 3 or 4 is a bit of a stretch, but at least 1 to 2 months, we could be nearing a good spot buying opportunity. So just be patient there. TON is actually looking really, really good to distribute here. This is looking beautiful. Plan remains the same here. Nothing has actually changed since last time. So as of now, we'll continue doing the check through all our other old pairs, but as of now, TON's the biggest sort of my main priority right now in terms of alts. This range is looking really, really nice. Beautiful return to zone going into EL, or extreme liquidity, however you'd like to call it. So yeah, leave that as is. We'll see how price continues to move. Let's have a look at Tau. Tau has invalidated this range as well, continuing to go lower and follow the broader context of the market. We also have an OBIF right here. Keep an eye out for a potential pullback. Awesome. Virtual. Just range bound price action, not really interested at the moment. pump is also looking to pull back. We have some supply here, which I think is just about to be mitigated. Nevertheless, I'll still put my alert up. Yeah, not too interested in pump at the moment. Well, we can see this still remains, but we'll see if we can pull this counter context. We'll see if we can pull this counter context range. Yeah, as I said, and as you know, with counter context moves, you will need a like perfect return to zone. I don't like how high this demand is. So if for whatever reason even if we have a nice return to zone and mitigate demand here, then break a structure, I will not be taking this. It's one, it's counter context, and two, the tap 3 is way too high up into the range. So not something to really, yeah, definitely not something to trade. I'd like a deeper mitigation. I want to see if there's anything more refined, maybe even some extreme liquidity we can use. Yeah, if we can sweep this, I would be very happy. Want same thing, like sweep this, but with a nice return to zone into this third tap POI. And then looking below us, which is very important to do. There's also quite a bit of liquidity below as well, so just be aware of that. This is really, really nice liquidity, to be completely honest. So yeah, I kind of do expect this to get taken. And then I don't think we're going to go as low as clearing this, but I definitely want to be looking at a bounce from here until we have swept extreme liquidity. And if I was to ever long this, then I need a beautiful return to zone. But for now, I think we're going to, weirdly enough, we're going to go higher for now. So we'll see what happens. All right, render. Let's have a look at render. Same thing, knowing the broader context of the market, we expect lower. Yeah, we could have some form of distribution here. Just be aware that we did accumulate at the bottom. However, yeah, this local accumulation did complete itself. Not my best drawing there. Boom. Like there is liquidity above. Something to just pay attention and be a bit mindful of. Other than that, like yeah, if we can come in with a nice return to zone. Yes, there is demand below. And it is fairly strong demand, you could say, because it is demand created from an accumulation model. And these always tend to normally give a fairly decent reaction when price comes back in. It does look like it has been mitigated on the lower time frame, so yeah, it has been mitigated on the lower time frame, so it's not necessarily the strong demand we initially thought, but it is demand and we can leave it there, at least for now. But at the moment, that has been mitigated, so this is not valid demand. That's not demand. This is not, it's not really demand here. It's kind of just unfair. It's really just a fair value gap. Unless there's some low time frame structure demand here, which might be possible. Yeah, it's a valid structure demand. If we can mitigate this beforehand, that would be nice, but we'll see. We'll see what price decides to do. We can move render up and monitor this a bit more. Let's have a look at cake. High time frame distribution completed. Nice. Something we'd like to see. Whenever stuff like this happens and we just complete a distribution, especially something that's this high time frame, I kind of want to let price play out a little bit. Just let it finish and either react or continue going lower. It's always like risky trying to catch a range that's just occurred or just been confirmed at the bottom or top of a higher time frame range. So you kind of just want to wait, be a bit patient there. Moving into Litecoin, I think this also had a high time frame distribution. Or semi high time frame, yes, I remember that one. It could be a potential bottom here for Litecoin. Although it is in like an awkward spot because it's not really having a clean accumulation. Like I wouldn't be calling this a clean accumulation of any kind. So I'm just gonna, yeah, pretty similar to the previous pair or the previous altcoin, because I'm not trading Forex. To the previous coin, just let price do its thing, man. Like, we have some supply here. No, we don't. Apologies. It's not much else really. Some very low time frame supply in here. Doesn't really do a whole lot. Doesn't grab anything to the left. That is Litecoin for me, really. Doge, what's Doge doing? Invalid, not interested. It's left supply as well. It's left pretty heavy supply actually. There might even be something overlapping there. We're obviously going to dig a little bit deeper in here. It has been mitigated on the lower time frame, but as we normally do, we can put this line here where we just show where the remainder of the inefficiency lies. So we can still mitigate and come back in to fill this inefficiency and move back down. So that is a-okay. And then, oh yeah, obviously you've got this as well, which is quite evidently slightly more refined and unmitigated supply. So that is fine to use. Other than that, we have front-man this POI. So we're kind of in like a two-tap model, which is just going lower. So for now, we'll wait and see what happens. If we do get a local distribution, then I'm obviously going to take it because the context is very much pro distribution, but this is a bit too short of a scalp for me at the moment. Yeah, I'm not too interested, and there's also supply above. Same thing, not the best supply, doesn't do a whole lot, but it is supply. BNB at one point also had a nice distribution, or was about to form a nice distribution, or it never did. No, yeah, we had, yeah, I remember this. It was pretty easy to see where it would have been, but kind of got invalidated there with this big as pump up into supply, and we are now going lower, so not too interested there. similar story. We're reaching like somewhat of a bottom for quite a few pairs, or potential bottom. And then we have this as well, quant. I will delete this because we are no longer required to have this demand on chart. Even with quant, I still think we're going to go lower and continue and complete this distribution model. Although we are leaving behind some low time frame buy side liquidity curve, but nevertheless, I feel like we can still eventually push lower. XMR, not doing a whole lot. Sol as well. We have this potential accumulation. Technically, we're still kind of there to an extent. Not really. Not too much of a fan. Similar story, we're leaving behind supply somewhat. It's kind of like ever so slightly being mitigated. Not a whole lot for Sol at the moment. That's been mitigated. We could be going as low as like I have a feeling this is probably some form of valid demand. Let's validate this. Okay, it has been mitigated on the lower time frame. So not as powerful demand as we initially thought. But yeah, like for Sol, I expect us to go lower really. There's no real POI to bounce off and we're just going lower. We'll see if we grab this. Should probably do that for most pairs actually. See if we do grab those. And then these, when we deviate this, and this applies to all pairs, this could be the sign where we start accumulating again. And then doing something like this. I can see this happening across multiple pairs. So just be aware, I guess. But yeah, I'll do that later on my own. We'll continue the TA. XRP, same thing. Absolutely ripping through. Absolutely ripping through. This could be a range right now. So we will see what happens there. But yeah, overall, expect lower, guys. Same thing, we're leaving behind supply. If we can get a local distribution coming into this supply, happy with that. Pepe as well. We've even swept this. Honestly, I feel like Pepe is going to go lower, and we have this key demand, this heavy demand below. I feel like if anything, we're going to bounce off this demand. So we will see what happens there. And then yeah, just for my own understanding, I will put that up. Hype is kind of invalidating this range, and then obviously we have this local We have this local model which formed perfectly. I feel like we're gonna go low on hype just because of this local distribution, which we didn't really get a good entry on. I think the break of structure was somewhere in here. But yeah, like there was quite a bit of demand below. This was a break of structure which occurred on a Tuesday at like 2 p.m. let's say. So you could have kind of allowed yourself on this break of structure a local, honestly a pretty decent local 7.4 risk to reward in an already confirmed Model 2, sorry. And then you would simply de-risk here. And you would have the potential to let this run up until demand. So up until demand for a 38 risk to reward. And then depending on the broader context of the market, you can de-risk or add for an overall 85 risk to reward. So do the math. But yeah, we didn't enter this, so it was just something cool to chart up, and seeing it happen like charting it up previously and then not being online when the entry presented itself, but then seeing it play out later on is, yeah, I mean, it goes to show that the strategy works. You just have to be alert and online to execute it and execute it correctly. But yeah, we'll leave hype alone for now. There is still demand below. And I think there might even be some demand there. Good chance. Yeah. Yeah, I will use that as demand for now. Until price hits it. But yeah, definitely a local top for hype, I can confidently say. So if you do want to short it, look for a re-entry. In terms of re-entries, if there's no real supply in here, then there's no real... You could technically re-enter off this. I will allow it. I will very much allow a re-entry of this. It's not the cleanest supply. If we have overlapping supply, however, that will be very, very clean. But I feel like even the overlapping supply has been mitigated. I feel like it has. Yeah, so this has. It's like you can borderline allow it, but it's just not that clean. You do have supply here. I will have to quickly attend GBP JPY in a minute. I think I know exactly where it is. What on earth has happened to hype? Where is it? Even coming into here, I feel like it's just a bit too far-fetched. Like, the model's already been confirmed, it's already been completed, and we do expect lower, although there is some form of liquidity here. Maybe we sweep this, we'll see. And is that demand? there is demand being formed right here. So keep an eye out on that as well. So plenty of levels to monitor on Hive. I'm just going to move this up to the top because it's interesting to monitor. And we are on Fartcoin next before I forget. All right, GBP, JPY, let's have a look what's going on here. I think it is mitigating some supply on the higher time frame. It is, but we want a stronger mitigation. And this entry is still on the cards for now. Beautiful, beautiful return to zone. All right, we will continue. I'm just going to set one more alert there. Okay, Fartcoin. Fartcoin also just going lower. XLM is moving mad, to be honest. Moving absolutely mad. It's kind of just doing its thing. I'm just going to let it do its thing. I'm not going to try grab anything from anywhere. Aave has failed pretty much all accumulations. This is sort of still at, might not be at play anymore depending on time. I know a few traders that have been monitoring this for ages, and unfortunately I don't think it's going to let it play out for them. 60 days, so yeah, we'll say 60 days there. And then from tab 2 to 3 we have been moving for about, okay, so anything up until like here I would allow. I can't put I need to use one of these. Vertical line, I think it was about here. 60 days, we want an alert at 60 days, which is at Saturday 6th of June 10 in the morning. So we can move this to Saturday 6th of June. We'll go 4 in the morning. But yeah, once again, just be aware of the broader context of the market. Would you long right now? We can look into this. It all depends on how we break this 1 hour market structure high for me. If we break this leaving heaps of demand below, then this might actually be still at, this might be like one last hurrah, one last attempt on this. And or for anyone that hasn't attempted this, then this could be your first attempt and could be your one and done. One shot, one hit, one bullseye. So we'll see. It is a little bit stretched out, as you can see, but this market structure high is very, very crucial. Yes, there is supply above, but by the time we reach supply here, the market sentiment could be slightly different, at least in the short term. So, however, if this doesn't break, how much lower do I think we're going to go? We've mitigated this, so could probably go as low as like here, like at 49 bucks. It's not nice, but this has already been, we've already mitigated this demand, so this is not a liquidity target. This isn't a liquidity target, and we've already swept this, or borderline about to, so your next target is like here, essentially. But yeah, that is Aave, so monitor this 1 hour market structure high. Really, really pay attention to it. Let's see what AUD CHF is doing. Alerts have been set there. Overall, the context here is bullish, which is not something I like. Is there extreme liquidity? There is, probably like right there. Yeah, I will allow this as my extreme liquidity. But yeah, it's just highlight you're against the context here. You're looking to distribute in a bullish environment. And yeah, you can just clearly see that we're still continuing to trend higher, although we have wicked this, so might be at play for a potential reversal, but we'll see how we come into this extreme liquidity. In terms of the sessions, I think, okay, that's also not the best. Asia high and low has been taken, which is not what we like to see, so I'm just going to leave that as is, not put too much importance with it, and then continue the last few pairs of our crypto market check, which is SUI, which is going heaps lower, and it's about to clear this low, which could then tee you up for a potential accumulation. Leave that as is. Bitcoin Cash high time frame distribution is complete. Well done to everyone that took this. I didn't take this, but had this charted up. Yeah, congrats all you guys and girls for waiting, for entering, and I think you could have had like pretty high RRs up here. Like this is a 4-day, just looking at this. So there were some very nice refined entries here, which we've gone through at some point. Trump looks gone, like across all levels. I don't even know why I'm looking at this. Brett is probably also just absolutely rock bottom. These charts are charts that I'm not really going to be paying too much attention on anymore. Let's have a look what's going on here. Okay, we'll monitor this as well for now. That's my extreme liquidity. Context here was bearish in the short term, which could put this at yeah, it's still not really at favor. But yeah, that is crypto. If you haven't watched Forex, go watch that. Very, very insightful. Lots of details, and lots of details here as well today, guys. So just to sum up, I expect the crypto market to go a whole lot lower. Bitcoin, I'm expecting that to hit around that 50, I believe 57k target it was. Not target, but like just the 57k level, yeah. This demand isn't that strong. It's only on the 4 hours, so it's not really holding price up that well. And then you've got the 3-day OBIF. So if there's ever going to be a reaction, it will be off this 3-day OBIF, which starts at 57k. So yeah, Bitcoin's not going to just randomly reverse here in the middle of nowhere and start going higher. It's not. And it probably won't do it off that 3-hour OBIF either. So expect us to go lower. Yeah, that is it. I don't think I looked at ETH. Similar story with ETH. We can definitely use this as a potential accumulation POI. So we'll see what happens. This range is actually quite nice with the demand that's right below it, so we can see some sort of bang, grab extremes and then push up. That's definitely possible. But yeah, for now, expect lower. Look for Bitcoin to hit that 57k mark within the near future, and when that does, that could be, depending on how it reacts, that could be a nice time to enter spot longs in alts. So yeah, thank you all for making it this far. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'll catch you all soon. Peace.